Joining us now is Sheiton Atigare Abebita. With stories trend in around the world.
Oh, God, Dr. But I can't say I have not missed you. I've missed you so much. It's good to
have you back
morning.
on the morning show.
Of course, Anadisua.
Good to see you again.
We're reunited on the morning show.
Yes, we
and
are.
of course, Rufai, good morning to you as well.
We are reunited on the morning show, TMS2.
All right, then let's kick off what's trending with this story. A 9-year-old girl has been identified as the culprit of arson that reduced an Ebeano supermarket in Abuja to ashes. The Ebeano supermarket in the local Goma area of Abuja was burned to the ground over the weekend, with goods worth billions of naira destroyed in the raging inferno. In CCTV footage, an unidentified girl could be seen lighting up the fire that destroyed the entire shopping complex before sprinting away from the scene. In more footage of her being questioned, she still has on the same outfit she wore to the shop on the day of the arson, of course, as captured on CCTV. Let's take a look.
So this is a spot where the fire incident started in the store. And then if you look at the time on the screen, 7 o'clock dot, and we'll observe the girl. She's coming now. You can see she's just walking confidently on her own. And then it's worthy to note at this point that throughout the time she entered the store at this day, she did not come here for once before now. So she's coming here for the first time today now, and we can see how she picked the lighter. She knew exactly where everything is or was at this time. So she picked the lighter. We can see she's lighting back up now. Somebody was passing. She pretended as if nothing was happening. And when she was done, she replaced the lighter back and was going back. You can see her looking back to see what she has done. So because it's been set up on packs of lighters to be easier for it to explode. Okay. So you can see staffs moving around, would not be able to identify it at this point because it's just beginning. So the fire is increasing now, and then if you notice, the lighters are now exploding. So we can see the flame is catching up, it's spreading. Okay, so a staff has seen the incidents and he has run to get a fire extinguisher.
I said, who took you there?
Your mother.
Your mother is the one that got you. Because, hello, I will give you a very dirty slap. I'm asking you a direct question, and you are trying, you as well as you are trying to twist the question for me. Who took you to that place? And then, why did your mom allow you to follow her to that place? On what premise, on what purpose did your mom, were you supposed to pick a shoe that she wants you to size it, or clothes, or what? Why, what was the purpose your mom took you along?
I wanted to buy that for my sister.
Not, I say for you, for you.
My mommy was on call with and she was with my sister at the drink session.
So how comes your sister was still with your mom and you left
You left them.
place?
You left them and go and light up a
How?
place.
If the other CCTV had come up, the one controlling the camera that should have seen the position of you and your mom, they would have known that it is your mom that sent you. It was your mom. How do you know that particular section in that place?
Mommy from the Ebeano before.
You know what's so peculiar about this case? First off, is the young age of the girl, and to just quickly talk about the method of interrogation over there. You could hear the police officer saying, "Oh, I will slap you" or whatever. Obviously agitated, but definitely not the way to speak to a 9-year-old and to try and retrieve the truth from her. There's some footage we have up here where we actually see the young girl walking into Ebeano with 2 other women. So she definitely did not, that's her in front with 2 other women. She definitely did not come there on her own. And if we move forward to the end of the night where people were beginning to gather at the Ebeano supermarkets, to see what exactly was going on, you can see the same woman there with the child wearing a black shirt. And, they are obviously responsible for this. So I definitely think that this is not the brainchild of a 9-year-old. They need to investigate, further to find out why she was, told to go and, set that fire. Adesoa.
Indeed, and this is not how to get the best from such a situation. I truly hope this is not the police welfare services in conducting that interrogation, because that's truly disappointing. And that's how the police end up destroying so many cases. You're not threatening a 9-year-old, you're going to give her a dirty slap. You keep her standing. You're not going to get the best out of that situation. She was interrogated. I don't see the presence of any guardian with her. That is totally wrong. But, Shaitan, kids do the silliest and damnedest of things. They say the damnedest of things. Unimaginable things. However, they can also be manipulated and asked to carry out heinous acts. And that's why a lot of people feel, and as you have said, a 9-year-old possibly could not have done this. So we need to get to the root of this. Who is behind this? And some people even say they commend Ebeano for having the CCTV footage in the first place, for investing in such a gadgets to help their business. But there are those who also say the response time to this incident, as we saw in that video, there was someone in the supermarket who noticed the fire.
And tried to get a fire extinguisher. To
try to get a fire extinguisher. However, the report is that, they lost, if not the entire shop. So the response time to emergency, there are lessons definitely to be learned. We also hope that insurance, another call for insurance is here again, how important that is. So there's a lot going on in this case. It's very sad for the business that has lost so much. You can imagine the number of employees.
This is not the first time that, an Ebeano supermarket will go up in flames. About 2 years ago, the same thing
Lagos.
happened in Lagos, yes, in the one in Lekki. However, I don't think that was a situation of arson. But maybe at the time they didn't even have CCTV footage. We have no idea what happened there. So of course, looking out for other supermarkets who have this, who have billions of goods. Like you said, response time, having the fire extinguisher on there, and of course investing in CCTV.
Yes.
Dr. Abati.
Okay, this is clearly a case of arson. And it looks also like a case of organized crime. The designers of this arson must have used a 9-year-old because they would imagine that a minor, there's a limit to which you can, punish a minor under the laws. So a minor will probably be sent to a juvenile, unit. So it falls within the province of laws relating to juveniles. So, and that makes it even more serious. And, the message to the owners of the Ebeano supermarket, you have cited the case of something that happened about a year ago in Lagos, is that they seem to be a target. So this is a case, if you like, at another level, of trade war, perhaps of rivalry. And that's why the investigators, who have been appropriately dismissed as being unprofessional, we need to look beyond the obvious. The obvious thing is what we have been shown. It's very obvious, okay, a young girl goes to a supermarket with the mom, and she goes to a location and sets the entire supermarket on fire. There must have been previous surveillance, reconnaissance, for a 9-year-old to have been told, this is what you will do, this is how you will do it. So I think, but oftentimes, the Nigerian police, they demonstrate so much incompetence. They jump to early conclusions, and arresting the young lady and, putting her on camera and releasing the video, because I don't know how this video got out in the first place, if it did not come from the police. So the police will need to be more professional, not to jump to conclusions, convict people in the public space, out of eagerness to be seen to be doing their work. So from the police side, what the police has done, in my view, appears to be unprofessional. But they need to dig deeper, because today is Ebeano supermarket. Could it be that there will be other, supermarkets that are similarly threatened, other businesses that are similarly targeted, and this kind of thing? Ebeano supermarket is a big chain. Before you know it, a label of ethnicity will be put on it. And it will be said, oh, this is an attack on an Igbo businessman, and, a counter-ethnic group will be fingered, even if it is not true, But we live in very delicate times. Strange things are happening, and I hope that at the end of the day, whether it is arson or homicide, the truth will also be prevailed. But it will always prevail. But the truth can only prevail if the security agencies are professional and are thorough, and they do not jump to conclusions in 24 hours, which is the pattern that we have seen.
Yes, definitely. Rufai, bringing it to you, I mean, we're seeing a case where the girl herself has been picked up, but the other two women in the video, we're not seeing anything, any developments. What are your thoughts on this case?
So my thoughts are this. Number one, more investigation. And, I'm so sad about what happened to Ebeano. Our great business is built over time. And I just wish Ebeano the best, and I hope he gets out of this. And I know he will survive. He survived the Lekki incident. A lot of people thought Prince Ebeano was dead, then he will survive this. But two things. Number one, that attack is premeditated. Somebody planned it out. There was a specific plan. They should get the other two people that went into the shop with the girls. They'll have a lot to say. Three, it was deliberate because she went specifically to that place where they sell things that could inflame.
Yeah.
And she was specifically taught what to do, just to light up where the lighters were so that things will start. But two things I'd say is, number one, where were the smoke detectors in the supermarket? Because if they had a smoke detector around, alarm will have gone out once the fire started. They should have nipped it in the bud. I saw a video of somebody that ran, the guy that ran when the fire started. I saw the fire. I don't know what the fire drills were all about. Are they teaching them fire drills in such a way that he could have, follow the fire drill, get the fire extinguisher, and put out that fire? Because at that point, we could have stopped that before the fire just went out of hand. And that brings me to the place of fire drills. What appropriate fire drills do we have when things happen like that? And can we also look at the reconfiguration? Maybe they should put highly flammable materials close to the reception area on the shelf line so that we can see that. Because obviously, it's because this highly flammable material was on one of the hidden aisles. That's when nobody can see this. And she could go in there and do this. So maybe they can configure where they put highly flammable materials on the shelf. Maybe it's close to the receptionist and it's an open space so that even when somebody starts it, then they can nip this the bud. I'll think they've got insurance. I will hope, Ebeano has got insurance. So I think insurance should be able to take care of this. But most importantly, the investigation is not about that 9-year-old. And secondly, we condemn what the police has done. It also shows that the police does not have a welfare department for children. Child psychology should be the one talking to the child, not police officers. Not police officers that say, I will slap you. You don't talk like that to a child. There's a way child psychology will be able to get into the brain of that child and probably get to the roots of the matter. So we should have a child psychology department in every police department in this country that will talk to children like that, juveniles in this case.
Very salient points you've made there, Rufai. We're going to go on a quick break, and when we come back, we'll continue discussing what's trending. Stay with us. Welcome back to the morning show. If you're just joining us, we are taking all things trending. Now let's go to Malawi, where the president of Lazarus Chakwera has sparked outrage in his country following plans to travel to the United Kingdom to attend a virtual conference. Chakwera left his country to attend the Global Education Summit, defending his actions, saying the internet connection in his country is not reliable and that it may affect his participation. He also listed 10 delegates who accompanied him on the trip, including his wife and daughter. The president's reason for embarking on the journey has sparked criticism in Malawi, with critics accusing him of nepotism. Now, this same conference, just to buttress the point, the Nigerian president as well, President Muhammadu Buhari, will also be going down to the UK to attend this virtual conference. Now, of course, the difference here is that he has not come out to say that it's because the internet in Nigeria is bad. But why are we still having heads of states going out of the country to attend conferences that they can just open their laptops and go on, any of these, virtual conferencing applications and attend the conference without having to spend a single dime on transportation or accommodation?
Well, for President Muhammadu Buhari, we've been told by his special advisor, a statement issued shows that the president is having bilateral talks, and he will also use the opportunity to go for medical checkups. You recall that he had postponed it earlier on. But for President Chakwera, he flew... Chikwera, Lazarus Chikwera. He flew about 7,000 miles to go and attend Shaitan, a summit to discuss the serious problem of shortfall in public financing for education. I need you to understand that.
The irony of that.
And he went with a 10-man delegation full of his family members. The president is known for that, nepotism back at home. He appoints people from his family, his in-laws, his wife, his daughter, his sons. But the issue here is that he says it was internet connection. I think that's a side note. Internet providers in Nigeria have a business opportunity in Malawi. Malawi has some of the worst education indices in the world. Their teacher-student ratio is one of the worst in the world. Their dropout rate in schools is one of the worst in the world. Enrollment is also terrible because more than half of the population lives below poverty line. And we have a president who's traveling with resources, state resources, to go and attend a hybrid summit, meaning that he could have attended virtually. I think African leaders need to get their priorities straight and right. It is laughable and it is shameful.
Dr. Ruben, I mean, he has said that the internet is not working. How will he attend?
Well, to put it in other words, this is about the failure of governance and leadership in Africa, which has been a perennial problem. And African leaders have been accused, justifiably, of suffering for what can be appropriately described as colonial mentality. African leaders, when they have health issues, they go abroad. The Francophone leaders, they are guilty. The Lusophone leaders, they are guilty, just as the Anglophone, leaders in parts of Africa are guilty. And the failure, the real indication of this colonial mentality is that they fail to develop their own countries. We have had cases here in Nigeria of persons going abroad for medical checkup. You give an excuse for President Muhammadu Buhari that he's going to the UK, yes, to do multiple things. Attend the Global Partnership on Education Summit, meet with Boris Johnson, who's like a son, really, to him in terms of age difference. And then also
medical checkup.
Have a medical checkup. But some Nigerians will tell you, yes, you could stay at home, do the virtual conference, and also have medical checkup here in Nigeria. Yes. But you'll be told that, look, this is an old, experienced president of Nigeria, and he has had doctors in the UK since 1970. But some people will say, okay, what has he himself done about the medical situation in Nigeria? So I don't think that we can fully, on all the counts, exonerate the Nigerian president. As for Chikwera, well, I think it's very unfortunate, with Malawi. They had this things Banda, who was, a dictator. After him, they had, I think, Mutarika. Mutarika died in office. He had health issues. The only period that Malawi has enjoyed some kind of peace or progress was under Joyce Banda, no relation of Estes Banda, by the way. And she was a very good friend of Nigeria. She founded the People's Party, and she was in office for just about 2 or 3 years. And then you had this tragedy called Chikwera, Lazarus Chikwera, who has been accused severally by his countrymen of hypocrisy and nepotism. His son-in-law is the director of communications. His daughter is third secretary in the embassy of Malawi in Brussels. So what do you expect from a man who has shown consistently gross incompetence? But as I said, he's not alone. He represents a certain prototype, a certain archetype in terms of the quality of leadership that we have in Africa. So he has gone there now to attend a virtual conference because there's no internet in his country. I mean, some of these guys are just shameless.
I wonder if he's going to, when he arrives in the UK, if he's going to actually go for the conference, or he'll just use the internet in the hotel and then just Skype in or something.
No, he will show up. Is either due to lack of education or lack of wisdom or common sense, which, by the way, is not common. You would think that a responsible leader will try, first of all, to provide an internet in his country. Will use the opportunity of that education summit to ensure progress in terms of what is lacking in his own country. But all that said, I think we should commend the English authorities for supporting the education agenda. As I said earlier on this program, many years back, Gordon Brown, former Prime Minister of the UK, was involved in this same initiative. And the United Kingdom has been supporting, education in various parts of the world. And I mentioned that when Gordon Brown came to Nigeria, the three key persons in Nigeria who were involved in that process was Prince Nduka Obagbena, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, and President Goodluck Jonathan. Then many years after that initiative was put in place, what have we also done here in Nigeria with regard to it? We have gone to that summit now, but what will come out of it. So,
Rufai, I'd like you to weigh in on this. I mean, he did say that the internet wasn't working. He has a point.
Well. Who did this to Africa? I don't know. Only God knows. Is it witchcraft or wizardry? I'm happy when Dr. Abati mentioned Hastings Kamuzu Banda. Hastings Kamuzu Banda was a medical doctor that impoverished his nation of Malawi. In fact, when he died, he was buried with a golden coffin. And somebody would have thought that golden coffin would have taken him to heaven, but it didn't. Afterwards, we had Peter Wa Mutharika. We had Bingo Wa Mutharika first, and when Bingo Wa Mutharika died, his brother Peter Mutharika took over, and we thought that he was going to change Malawi, but he didn't. Malawi continues to wallow in abject poverty. GDP of Malawi is just about 7 billion. It's the second poorest country on the African continent. Out of 55 countries on the African continent, only Malawi is ranked 54 in terms of low GDP. And you're not surprised. And you see, when the election of Lazarus Chikwera came in, we thought because he was a pastor, things were going to change. He was a Baptist pastor. I was part of those that rooted for Lazarus Chikwera. But now I come on TV to say I'm very wrong, because it is the problem that bedevils Africa. So it's not being a religious person or anything. We just need people that can do good for our continent. And if this was the same Lazarus Chikwera that told some government officials to return $700 that they spend in travel allowance back to the government coffers, he's the one now taking 10 people from his family. Now you see, these African leaders, they're very funny people. They are the quickest to point to others that you are corrupt, but they themselves are not immune from corruption. So the big question is, who will save Malawi? Since we all thought Lazarus Chikwera, Dr. Lazarus Chikwera was going to change everything with his American accent, we thought he was exposed and everything. But if that's the case now, he thinks he has to take 10 members of his family abroad because there's no internet in his country and he can't fix the internet, then the question is, who will save Malawi? Malawi has a lot of mineral resource, and most importantly, the people of Malawi are sparkling, good people. If you go out to other parts of Malawi, you see how great people are. Despite the poverty, they are doing well for their country. Very law-abiding people. But the problem is just that they have a terrible, terrible leader. Lazarus Chikwera will have to tell us it's otherwise. But as of today, we are not impressed for Malawi.
Thank you so much.
Was it not Pliny the Elder, who said, something new always comes out of Africa. So nobody should be surprised. Tomorrow, there will be something even more surprising, either coming from Malawi or Nigeria or elsewhere. So that's Pliny the Elder for you. Semper Acudi. Well, okay, don't worry. We don't have time.
That's a good place to end it on What's Trending. I'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you very much, Abebi.
I didn't even know you were Abebi. Now I know.
No, she's Abebi now.
That's Abebi. Abebi.